This is SCAC Baseball Media Days, and joining us today is the Texas Lutheran University Bulldogs head coach Greg Burnett and senior outfielder Tony Janusa. Gentlemen, first of all, we thank you so much for taking the time out this morning and joining us to discuss the upcoming 2015 season.
Thank you for having us.
Coach, let me start with you. Let me simply just ask what your expectations are going into 2015.
Well, James, just like every year, my expectations are simply to compete. I don't set out in a season and establish a certain number of wins that I want to achieve or our team to achieve. I simply want to compete day in and day out, practice, games, everything. In baseball, sometimes you're going to compete and you're going to come up a little short, and sometimes you can go through games and win and not compete very well. So I just feel like from a consistency standpoint, I just want this team to compete day in and day out.
Coach, last season was your first season in SCAC, and a pretty successful one. You guys got to the SCAC title game, fell just short, had a pretty good regular season. Do you guys carry any momentum from your first season in the SCAC from 2014 into 2015, or is that just something you leave behind and just focus squarely on this season?
Well, I think some of the players that are returning may carry some momentum in from last season, but from my standpoint, I don't. This is my 17th year in college baseball coaching, so each year is different for me, and I really don't, from one year to the next, carry any momentum. I think year in and year out, it helps you to establish maybe the foundation of what your players expect. But from my standpoint, each year is a different year, so no, I don't carry any of the momentum forward.
Tony, let me turn to you. You guys are going to open up next weekend. Just share with me the excitement level among the team to get the new season started.
We're all really excited. Practice has been going great. We've been out there since last week. I think we're all ready to get out there next Friday under the lights at home. The practices have been great. Guys are feeding off each other, really competing.
And Tony, that's kind of a perfect segue into my next question. Even going back to the fall and then going into so far in January, what have you seen through this team throughout the preseason? What's some things that you've seen that you really like, especially from a senior's perspective?
I think everybody on our team has a great work ethic. Guys are really out there trying hard every day to get better. Guys are pushing each other in practice, in the weight room. We're always getting extra reps in. We're always just trying to get better and get ready for the season.
Coach Burnett, coming back to you, 8 seniors on this team. How important, especially seniors like Tony, will they be to this team's success?
Well, I think they're going to be paramount to the team's success. We have a young team this year. We graduated 14 seniors, and we've got a lot of new faces. All you have to do is look at our roster, and there's going to be a lot of new faces on the field, but not only that, in the program. In fact, more than half of the players in our program are newcomers this year. So the 8 seniors will help establish the expectations for the team. They establish the work ethic. They establish the competition on a daily basis, and they also establish those expectations for the season. So they're extremely important.
Tony, hearing that from your coach, being a senior on this team, just tell us a little bit about the importance for yourself to be a leader among this group.
I think being a leader, one of these 8 guys, it's really vital that we pass down the tradition to our younger guys who may not have any experience or anything like that. But we have guys who've played in regional games. And we can share our experiences with those guys and make them better and just teach all we know.
This is SCAC Baseball Media Days. We're here with the Texas Lutheran University Bulldogs head coach Greg Burnett and senior outfielder Tony Janusa. And Coach, let's break down the team a little bit. We'll start with the pitchers and catchers. Tell me a little bit about this group. Who are some key players that stand out to you from this group and are going to make an impact in 2015?
Well, as far as the mound goes, we only have 3 pitchers who have ever pitched in a varsity game for us returning. Aaron Alamont, Thomas Harwell, and Lincoln Baylor. So when we talk about establishing the foundation for the success of our pitching staff, it's got to start with those guys because they have the most experience. We're going to have a lot of new faces, a lot of things that we're going to learn throughout the season. We think we have a pretty good group of talented young guys, and we think we can slot them into certain areas within the rotation or within the bullpen, and I think we can be successful. But at the same time, those three guys are the only ones that return with any established playing time or pitching time on the mound. So we're going to rely on them a lot. And in order for us to be successful as a staff, those guys are going to have to be successful for us. As far as catchers go, we had two seniors last year. They caught almost every inning except for maybe one inning all season. So we're going to be brand new behind that pitching staff. So our battery is going to be made up of a lot of new guys. And so it's an interesting scenario to have going into a season with a bunch of young guys, but it also establishes some level of excitement. You're hoping to see these guys continue to develop throughout their career, and you know that they're going to be a heck of a lot better come game 35, 36 than they are in game 1.
And, Coach, let me stick with you. Let's move into the infield, and let me ask the same question. What have you seen from this group? Who are some people that have stood out to you in the infield?
Well, I think when we talk about the infield, we have to start with the shortstop, Zach Jacobs, 3-year starter, played significantly as a freshman, so he's got a lot of experience for us. After that, we're going to be putting some new pieces in various places. We have some injuries, so we're going to be moving some guys around. First base, we'll have Klaus Borman returning. He'll also DH for some. We have a transfer first baseman and a senior first baseman that will see some time. And so second base, really we're looking at Lincoln Baylor and Alex Gutierrez and a freshman Ben Marvin to get quite a bit of time at that position. So those are some things we're seeing in the infield. And like I said, we've got a lot of new faces, so it's hard to talk about expectations because I don't think they've really been established yet for those guys.
Tony, let me turn to you as an outfielder on this team, and let me ask you about this outfielder group and what you've seen from this group of guys here in 2015 and what you expect from this group.
Yeah, we got some guys with experience out there, and we also have a bunch of younger guys who just came in. But I think we mesh well, and the older guys can teach the younger guys how we play the position. I mean, we have a big park down here, so I think every guy that we have is more than capable of covering ground and getting the ball in as quickly as possible.
Coach Burnett, coming back to you, we've talked about the youth of this team, but tell me a little bit about the newcomers as a group and what they've brought to this team throughout the weeks of preseason, what they'll continue to bring to this team throughout the season.
Well, I think the first thing that the newcomers brought to the program from a coaching standpoint was some excitement. These are guys that are new to the program. We were excited when they came in the fall. I think Coach Hines, Coach Burns, and Coach Kistler last year did a great job helping us recruit a really, really, really good group of guys. And so I'm excited, and we were excited this fall. We had a lot of new guys in, and there were a lot of question marks, so we were excited to see those guys play. It was we kind of called it Christmas in September, get a chance to open all the gifts from the recruiting season in preseason practice. So a lot of excitement, but as a group, I believe that they've brought a tremendous amount of athleticism. I think they've improved our athleticism overall as a team. Got some really good young players, guys that are really athletic, but at the same time have a chance to become better baseball players. So really, really excited about those guys and love the youthful enthusiasm that they bring.
We'll get you both out on this final question. Tony, I'm going to start with you. For Texas Lutheran to reach goals and expectations in 2015, just tell me what are going to be some of the keys to success.
I think that our team chemistry is really, really great right now, as it has been in past years. And I think that's going to help us throughout the season. I mean, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but if we battle through the adversity, we're going to come out as a stronger team. Pitching-wise, I think if we throw strikes, put the ball in play, our defense is going to be there to back them up. And hitting this year, I think we're going to be pretty good. So if we can execute all three phases throughout the season and every game, I think we'll be all right and we'll be successful.
Coach, I'll ask you the same question. What will be some of the keys to success?
Well, I'm going to reiterate a little bit about what Tony said. The most important key to any season's success for me is team chemistry. Right now it's great. But once the season starts and these guys that all have expectations of being all-conference, all-American, playing every inning, the reality is that some of them won't get to play as much as they hoped, and they'll have to find roles on the team to help us to be successful. Are they going to remain positive and allow us to continue that chemistry? If they do, I think we're going to have a great start to a successful season. Specifically, if we look at pitching, my biggest concern is establishing depth within the staff. We've got some really good, young, talented arms, but can we slot them in and establish the depth of not only our rotation but our bullpen? I think those are important. If we do that, I think we'll play defense behind them. And then from an offensive standpoint, I felt like last year we weren't very consistent. Some days we came out and we were really, really good. And some days, honestly, I didn't know where we were. And so I think this year I hope to see more consistency. And I think that learning from that last year, seeing that last year, I think our guys will be more consistent in terms of the execution. And consistency is not only just in the games where things are going well and you're scoring a lot of runs, but it's in those games where you're struggling a little bit. The pitcher on the mound's doing a great job and you're in the game late. You've got to find a way to compete and got to find a way to execute late in those games when things are tight. And I hope that we can do that this year. If we do those things, I think we'll have a chance to find our way in the SCAC tournament again and have a chance to become conference champions.
The Texas Lutheran Bulldogs will open things up on February 6, 2015 at the Texas Lutheran Trinity Tournament. They will open up against Whittier College at 7 p.m. in Seguin, Texas. This has been the SCAC Baseball Media Days with head coach Greg Burnett and senior outfielder Tony Janusa. And guys, again, we just want to thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today, and we wish you and the rest of the team good luck in 2015.
Thanks, James.